we're sustainable with where we're at. We're doing, we're going to do about $500,000 in the next year in sales. It's me. I have one full-time and one part-time employee. We use a lot of AI. We use a lot of automation.
Yeah.
But I would like to scale. I mean, I would love to scale to that $1 million agency growth. It's great being a $500,000 agency with 2 employees.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable. I have a great salary. I live a comfortable life. I would love to scale. I feel like the way to scale is.
I've got something special lined up for you today. I've been noticing a guy from within our community for quite some time now. He's actually been with us for a few years, but just last week he posted about several wins that he recently landed in his business. So I'd figured I'd get him on here to see what the heck he's been up to. Some of you may recognize him from the group. So if you do, say what's up to him. And if you don't, I'd like to introduce you, Mr. Cody Weaver. How's it going, Cody?
What's up, Nick? How are you, buddy?
I'm doing good. We just had a tsunami warning yesterday. We thought a tsunami was coming.
Saw that.
You saw that?
I did. I saw somebody was talking smack about Oprah. Said Oprah had like a private road or something that she wouldn't open for people. I don't know about it, but I saw something. Yeah, y'all good though?
Yeah, it's good. You never know what with these things. I mean, I've lived here pretty much my whole life, and I saw one tsunami come in that like made water make it pretty high up, but hasn't been too crazy. And yeah, Oprah does kind of have her own private road for access. Everybody always starts crying about that every time something is going to happen and people need to run somewhere. But yeah, anyway, yeah, crisis averted. It was weird because yesterday for like the tail end of the day, like all of a sudden it was like tsunami warnings. And then last night we're like, oh crap, we got to prepare for all this. And then like, it was like false alarm. And they're like, okay, back to reality, back to what the heck was I doing yesterday? And yeah, so anyway, for me, it's like back to work, back to business, get back to getting clients and doing all those things. So
well, good.
Yeah, man. So anyway, I figured I'd just get you on here and see what you've been up to. You've been landing some crazy deals. How long you been, doing this?
Yeah, man. So this is actually our 4-year anniversary this month. So July is our 4-year anniversary. July of 2021. I owned 2 other businesses and was trying to recover post COVID. And I was like, man, I need to make a pivot. I need to make a change. I need to, find something that is a little bit more recession proof, COVID proof. And just sitting around one day, I came across an ad on Facebook for a course that was called Client in a Weekend. And I said, you know what? That's interesting. Let me check this out. And so I ended up purchasing Client in a Weekend from the Offline Sharks, and it's been all growth and good things since then. So
no way, that's wild. So that was your actual entry point. Was that so for those that don't know, Client in a Weekend is a course that we created a couple of years ago, like you said, around post COVID, and the premise is all about getting your foot in the door and getting some clients. So you took that course. Did you have any marketing experience before that, or getting clients or using AI or anything like that?
Yeah, so my background is pretty heavily in sales. So I had a lot of sales experience, a lot of experience as a closer, none of it in marketing. However, because I did actually own a couple of businesses at that time, I had done my own marketing. So I had done Facebook ads, I had done pay-per-click ads. I had some experience I really didn't know anything about SEO at the time, but I knew how to create a Google business profile. I had built some Shopify websites, things like that. So I had a very basic understanding of digital marketing, of how to build these ads. And I was really, really interested in the digital marketing community and the industry, just based off of a lot of things that I had seen in that time around 2020, 2021. There was a lot of buzz about the industry. So I had a lot of interest. Right. And I'd actually previously enrolled in a course with a coaching program called Traffic and Funnels. And I'm not even gonna lie, like they got me for some money. Like I spent a lot of money on this Traffic and Funnels course, and I didn't really get a lot of value out of it, and I was just kind of disheartened. But I remember coming across the Client on the weekend, and I remember thinking, I was like, you know what, this is affordable. It's only, I think at the time it was a couple $100. I was like, it's a couple $100. This is something I'm really interested in. It's something I have very basic ground level knowledge of, but let me see what this course is about. worst case scenario, if it doesn't work out, I'm out a couple $100. It is what it is. And I remember I bought it and I went through the whole course in a night. And it's funny, from that day, 4 years ago to today, we still use one of the things that was included with that course was the proposal. It said,
Mm.
hey, here's a proposal that you can send. It's a basic proposal. My agency still today uses that exact proposal and we send it to our clients for every new client we pick up. And so, yeah, cool. It's great. A lot of value. The community's been great. But yeah, that's how I got started.
Man, that's crazy. I love to hear that. And you had recently, this is my recently shared. I mean, this is a win, a list of wins that you posted in the group. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So it looks like you've been getting a lot of clients over the weekend. It's pretty safe to say, right? I mean, you've
Yeah,
been
I'm terrible. One of the things that I really want to do better with is getting in the group and engaging more often. But
yeah,
I'm really terrible about just staying consistent with my engagement inside the group.
right.
So, but I do like to, one of the things that's important to me is making sure that I share success because it's really hard as a newbie, and when you get into the game and you're early on, it's kind of like, you're staring at the top of the mountain from the base and it's like, okay, well, how do I get there? And so one of the things that's important to me is sharing successes. And I want other members of the group to see that, hey, look, I was this guy, 4 years ago. I was the new guy in the group. I was seeing wins. I'll tell you, one of the guys that I remember early on, and I'm pretty sure he's still in the group, but I remember early on, Norm.
Mm.
Norm
Yeah,
was in the group just sharing these wins, and it was so inspirational. I was like, you know what? Even if I only jump in here once every couple of weeks and just drop some wins, maybe somebody will see it. Maybe somebody will say, okay, this is achievable. This is possible. The methodology that is taught inside this group is solid. And that's what I want. I want people to see that it is a strong industry. What you guys teach is practical. It is absolutely achievable, and I need to do better about sharing my wins on a more consistent basis. But yeah, it's been good. We've got, I think we're somewhere around 50. We're hovering around that 50 client right now. 4 years in, we've got about 50 clients.
man, that's insane. And for those of you that don't know, because I'm gonna post this on YouTube, so I get a lot of people that are like brand new to the channel. Cody's talking about our Facebook group, and I didn't plan on sharing this with you all, but he's mentioning it now, and it is a really valuable resource, and I'm glad you mentioned it because you know it's tough like to build an online business, right? So this is me, this is Tom, this is our Facebook group. It's free, by the way. There's almost 22,000 people in here. These are all other people that are here just like Cody. Some are brand new, some are experienced, he's got 50 clients, but people in here just like regularly taking a proactive role or sorry, a proactive approach to building their business. So whether it's like asking questions, sharing something that didn't work. Sometimes it's a thing that didn't work that saves people from going down the wrong direction. Obviously, sharing lots of what's working, wins, and those things. So that's a great place to go in there and support. And it's
Absolutely.
free, so you can go there. And yeah, I'm the same way. I have a lot of stuff going on, and we have a lot of wins happening. And like I did the same thing recently. I was like, oh crap, I forgot to share about all this, and I always do forget. But there's so many people in that group that are, crushing it. That are just they're on the sidelines. They don't really talk. They're just observing. They're in there. And I'm that guy. Like in most groups other than my own, I'm not in there like posting all the time, but I'm there and I do look and I do know what's going on. And every now and then we'll get somebody to come out of the woods and they'll be like, man, I've been following along to the T and I am crushing it. And so, yeah, it is important to share that stuff, with other people.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely, man. Like my goal first was to build a life that was what I had imagined. Like I build something that was going to break generational curses. I apologize. My office building is right next to a train track, so there's probably about to be a train coming by.
it's okay. My daughter's in her room next door and I can hear her right now banging her feet on the wall.
that's
Trying like it's nap
hey,
time, and she's like kicking her. I can hear it. It's funny.
that's the benefit of kids, man. I got three of them, so
Yeah,
it gets better as I get older.
yeah,
But yeah, so like my number one, I was like, I want to build a life that is going to give me and my family everything we ever dreamed of. And goal number two was, how do I inspire and help others realize that they can achieve the same thing. And that's one of the great things I love about your Facebook group and about what you guys do is not only do you have, one of the most successful marketing agencies that I can speak of personally, but your coaching group also is contributing to the community at an equal or greater level than what you guys are doing on the digital marketing side. I mean, your coaching group is transforming, not just businesses and not just, companies that are out there looking for resources that they may not know are available to them, but the individuals that are inside of that group that are able to provide that service to those businesses. You guys are making a huge impact, and I'm so proud to be a part of the community. And I love everything that you guys have done.
Oh man, I really appreciate that. Like so what do you think has been the most helpful, I don't know, skill or information or mindset or resource of support that you've gotten from the community? What has been the most helpful, you think?
I mean, honestly,
Because you're good at sales, right? You already had sales experience in the
right,
past. So a lot of people, they're not good at sales. So fortunately you had that,
right.
great starting place where you could sell, snow to an Eskimo. I don't know. but if you can sell, right? And then you stumble
Yeah.
upon this thing where it's like this new emerging market, you got AI, you got services, you can help people. Like a lot of people might think to themselves, like, well, I'm not good at sales. How can I make that happen? And what would you say to that person? Let's start there.
So it's kind of like a two-part question. So one of my greatest things that I love about the community is that it's a community that's built on sharing success. I'm in another group. I have another business that I do on the side. I'm in real estate, and I have another group that I'm a part of that's a real estate investors group. And one of the things that I've shared with that group, because I'm an administrator of that group, that I've brought from the Offline Sharks community is the sharing of wins and the sharing of successes is because, winners want to hang around winners. Winners thrive around winners. And when you can see success in something, it's one thing to say, okay, hey, here is a course that you can take on a service that you can sell. Here it is, and go sell it. I promise you it works. But when you actually see other testimonials and you see people actively engaging in the group saying, hey, I just closed this client. I just closed this client. I just made this sale. And when you lift that up, it's what's the phrase? It's a rising tide raises all ships, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You grow as a community and you lift each other up. And that's one of my favorite things about the Offline Sharks community is the community and the camaraderie that's built on sharing wins and sharing successes. I love that. On a side note, for somebody that's new that's coming in, and what I would say as far as okay, I came into this with sales experience. I came into this with some marketing experience. There was a lot of things that I walked into your community with that I didn't have to worry about. But one of the really, really cool things that you and Tom have to offer that I haven't seen from a lot of the other communities that I'm in is that you guys really touch all bases. You guys have an offering that like we get on those weekly StreamYard calls, and if somebody has a question about sales, Tom or you or whoever is leading that call is willing to talk about, hey, here's some tactics that we can do for sales. Here's some offerings that we have, whether they're free or they're paid for, that will help you with sales. Somebody might have a question with building their reputation, building their brand. You guys have an offering and you have a value to provide for building the brand. Someone might have a question over social media. They might have a question over SEO. They might have a question over go high level. You guys have every base covered. I've never seen anybody come to you or to Tom and have a question or have a insecurity over how they were going to achieve their goal, that you guys did not have a tangible solution that you could offer to them. It's one of the biggest reasons why I'm such a fan of what you guys have done, and I love being a part of your community, is you guys provide those tools. So for anybody watching this, if you are interested in starting a digital marketing agency, if you have a marketing agency, if you have something that you're insecure about, something you feel like you could use some training on, the tools and everything, the knowledge, it's there. And so I love that about y'all. And for real, it's like from my experience, just as being in digital marketing, I'll tell you, okay, so I'm gonna sum this up. I'm rambling. I'm gonna sum this up on one thing. Here's the number one thing I took away from being a part of your guys' group. When I purchased that client in a weekend course, you guys were pushing this. I don't know if it was a campaign or whatever, but it was A's revenue producing activities. And it
It's a
was like,
mindset. It's a
that's it.
methodology.
That's
Yeah.
it. And you guys were preaching revenue producing activities. And I was like, that's it. And so I focused everything on revenue producing activities and my sales and my marketing, everything else just kind of fell into place. So I love that. So it was a long answer, but
No, man, you said so much there, and I actually I took a couple little bullet points here because I do want to touch on pretty much everything you said. But
yeah,
revenue producing activities, everybody. So we call those our RPAs, which it's very difficult to work from home, work from your computer, work from your laptop, work from your phone, even, and actually accomplish stuff. Right? Some of you might feel that, like you think you're working, you think you're building something, but you never really get anything done, and it's because we spend our time checking email, going social media. We get caught by the latest, whatever, ad, video, blah, 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 blah. Before you know it, you're, half the day is gone. And so if you really can be intentional about spending your time on revenue producing activities, these are things that you can do in your day to day to actually generate revenue specifically, or cash flow specifically. Like, number one, speaking with potential business owners that can pay you. Like, that's the biggest one, right? If you don't have any conversations, whether it's email, phone call, DM, text message, you don't have a Facebook ad, you don't have an agent out there working for you, or even somebody on your team, chances are you're probably not going to make any sort of money. So being intentional about that is really what RPAs are all about. Now, you said about walking into the room with a little bit of sales experience and having maybe some digital marketing experience. And the thing that I think you probably quickly found out is, like, the methods that we share, there's all kinds of people that don't have that experience, but they end up landing deals and getting customers. And how does that work? Well, this was actually me when I first started out. Tom was the guy that was like crushing it with getting clients and closing deals all the time, and I was really like introverted, and I didn't have a lot of self-confidence because I wasn't like crushing it at life at the time. And I was like really just trying to figure it out. So when I got on the phone or sat across a coffee table at Starbucks and finally figured out that, or finally got somebody on the line that might pay me, I would like freeze up and I wouldn't really know what to say, and it would be tough. But that's really where Tom and I came together, and we kind of combined our, I don't know, our skill sets, and we
right,
started coming up with these foot in the door strategies, irresistible offers,
right,
so that you can let the method do the selling for you. So, we have a method, it's called the already done method, where we use pre-built templates, website templates. We use a template to set up a website for a roofer, and then we find roofers who don't have a website, and then we're like, here's a website, it's already built, it's already done. You don't have one, you need one. So it's like product market fit, right? We're solving a problem with a solution. I do not need to be that great at selling to be like, I see you have a problem, here's a solution. I can just rely
right.
on that. And so if you're that type of person that maybe isn't good at selling, that is one of the unique, I don't know, advantages of being in our community. Is like, that's all we do, is just figuring out ways to let the methods do the selling, because we know that that's the most difficult part for most people. It's totally normal.
Yeah, man.
um,
I mean, sales is literally the hardest thing, right? And so if you're somebody, I mean, even if you've got a solid agency, if you're solid on your SEO, if you have a solid offering for website development, you're doing the done for you. The number one thing is, if you know that, man, I have a lot of value to provide, but you know that your sales skills are subpar, it is completely worth it to invest in a sales mentorships, invest in a sales class, or even go out and outsource it. Right? That's another thing that you guys really talk about is identifying your skill set and outsourcing the things that are maybe not your strongest skills. I'm fortunate that sales is my skill set. I'm the owner of Ignited Digital Marketing. I'm also the only sales rep, and so that's all I do for my company is our sales and our onboarding. That's just my skill set. I hired my web designers. I hired my social media people. I hired that out. I
yeah.
know that I'm good at sales, and so that's what I do. So if you can identify, where you're strong and make sure that you position yourself there and invest in where you're not strong.
Right.
You can either invest in to grow into developing that skill set or invest in hiring somebody that already has that skill set. Either way, Sales is how you make or break your business, and building your brand is, to me, is equally as important. Whether it's minor marketing, whether it's ignited digital marketing, your brand is your business. Invest in it, believe in it, be confident in it. Don't go into any deal, don't go in to talk to a client with any insecurities about why you're there and what you have to offer that customer. The more confident you are that you have value to provide to that customer, and the better you can convey that value to them, you're literally going to walk out of that meeting with them needing you. You're
Right.
there to sell them something, but by the end of it, the more confident you are, they are going to realize that they absolutely have to have you and that they need you. And that's how you grow it, man. That's how we've grown the way that we've grown over the past 4 years.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, I mean, quite literally what a irresistible offer is, right? We like to make irresistible offers to people. It's an offer so good, you can't really say no.
Right.
And so, yeah. So if you guys, we have a 4-part AI fast track training that's free. If you want that, we talk more about getting subscription based clients just like this. Comment below this video. I'll send it over to you. Also, Cody, one thing that I wanted to ask you about, like you and your business and all that, like what would you say is the biggest obstacle for you guys right now in growing and scaling with 50 clients or so?
Okay, so I will tell you,
And I'm asking because I want to see if I can give you anything.
yeah, absolutely. I can tell you wholeheartedly what my number one obstacle has been, and that has been hiring sales reps. I am the only sales rep for our company, and I have been burned and burned. I have tried hiring sales reps that were salary based. I've tried hiring sales reps that were salary with commission. I've tried hiring sales reps that were primarily commission based. And it has led to tens of thousands of dollars that I have lost and a lawsuit. I'm actually in a
Mm,
lawsuit right now against a sales rep that I hired in the state of Oregon.
mm,
She
damn.
provided a lot of false information and collected thousands of dollars from me in
Hmm.
salary. So that's one thing, So one thing about us that I will say, don't cold call. I don't make sales calls. All of our growth has been inbound leads. All of our growth has been through marketing, through referrals. In the 4 years that I have, been the only sales rep for my company to close any sales, I've probably made 5 cold calls in that 5 years. We focused on building our brand, building our networking, and building our referral base. So we probably have 4 to 8 sales meetings a week, and those 4 to 8 sales meetings a week are all they're all inbound leads. They're all people that come to us. They hear our reputation, they see our ads, they see our marketing, they want to work with us. And it's been beneficial because I just, as a business owner, I don't have the time to go out and cold call and prospect the way that a full time sales rep should. I I don't know what my blockage is between myself and knowing how I close and bring on clients and trying to find somebody that can do the same thing in a sales perspective. That being said, I suck at hiring sales reps. I've hired 4 sales reps in 4 years, and I've generated 0 sales and thousands of dollars lost in the
Yeah.
4 years of trying to hire a sales rep. So that's kind of where we're at, and we're sustainable with where we're at. We're doing, we're going to do about $500,000 in the next year in sales. It's me. I have one full time and one part time employee. We use a lot of AI. We use a lot of automation.
Mm,
And so I'm satisfied with where we're at. So I've kind of just put hiring a sales rep on the back burner.
yeah.
But I would like to scale. I mean, I would love to scale to that $1 million agency growth. It's great being a $500,000 agency with 2 employees.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable. I have a great salary. I live a comfortable life. I would love to scale. I feel like the way to scale is by having that sales force, that sales team. I have not been successful with finding them. I know you have a sales team, and I would love to hear your input on that. I would love to hear how you have found the solution of growing that sales force, because that's something that I have not been successful in.
Yeah. Well, you have a lot going for you, because in most cases, like for you, you already have a sales process that you personally know really well. And if you have that, then it is the process to basically bring somebody in to outsource yourself is a lot more simple than somebody who doesn't have that sales process. For example, when somebody comes into the community and they're brand new and they've never gotten a client before and they're like, "Oh, I want to hire a salesperson." It's pretty hard to hire a salesperson because you don't know what to sell. You don't know how to
Yeah.
sell it. You don't know what they're going to say, how to overcome those objections, or even if you're back to the example before, you're using a method, even if you're using a method where there's not a whole lot of selling, you have to do the method yourself in order to optimize the process. So,
Right.
you already knowing the process that you have is huge and it's massive. And, when it comes to like finding sales reps, it kind of matters where you're looking too, because number one, as you know, being a salesperson is an extremely valuable skill. Most good salespeople, they're not looking for jobs because they're already making money somewhere.
Right.
So if you think about that, that means you have to almost pull them away from somewhere, give them a better opportunity,
Right.
or find somebody and train them up to learn your craft and learn how you do it. I think they say that like the average time that a good salesperson stays without a job is 2 weeks. So that's a pretty interesting,
I mean, yeah.
metric, right? Like we're all the good reps. Well, in 2 weeks they'll all have jobs, So
Yeah.
it's they're not like good people, very often it's like if you have somebody hitting you up telling you like, "Oh, I'm so good at sales." If you were probably really that good, you probably wouldn't be hitting me up for a job. There'd be so many good people trying to steal you that you have plenty enough on your own. So my full disclosure, my current rep right now, I didn't steal her. I would say I somewhat poached her. Well, and also I've built a couple of different sales teams, right? Like currently have a sales team in the software information product company that I have. It's totally separate than Mind of Marketing. Mind of Marketing also has a sales team. And in that info product business, like I've had massive teams, appointment setters, salespeople, sales managers, like big, super stressful. I
Right.
like I like the strategy we have now, which I'll talk a little bit about. And it starts before, like not having to have all that starts before with how your lead flow is and how you're generating leads and your pipeline and your deal flow and all that. And that also connects to how you're paying your people, which I know there's some stuff there that you want to talk about, and I'll talk about that too. But, as far as like at the agency, we currently have one rep there who we keep very busy with the amount of leads and deal flow that we have coming in. We
Right.
could bring on another one, but that would mean that we would have to increase other areas of the business. And we're at a place where we're not trying to have 300 clients. We're trying to have just, 100 top tier clients that are paying $10,000 to $20,000 a month, rather than having to hire a huge team to manage a lot of clients, have a little clients and have a small, really elite team. So that's kind of the method, because I just don't have enough bandwidth to deal with all that. So the way that I found her though, is that, and this is funny because some of my clients, the first time I ever met her, she was trying to poach one of my clients. She's working for another company. And one of my clients was like, "Hey, this company reached out to me and they wanted to see if they could do our marketing. And, they said this and that and blah, 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 blah." I was like, "Oh, whatever." Like in this industry, that happens all the time, right? All your clients are getting hit up by cold email and, outreach and all that stuff. So it's pretty typical. But her name came up again from a different client, and again from a different client. And then one day, one of my clients who owns a mountain bike shop, I was there getting a mountain bike to go mountain bike riding. And he was like, "Hey, this girl came in," and it was her name. She came into the shop and was like, "Hey, we do marketing. We want to work with you." And I was like, he's like, "She gave me her card. Here's her card." And I was like, "Holy shit." So I took her card and I sent her an email and I was like, "Hey, have we met before? Or, if not, like maybe we should." And, I don't know. I don't really know why I did that, right? You can make the argument that she was a competitor of mine. A lot
Right.
of people would look at that and be like, they would be over it. They wouldn't even want to do it. They wouldn't even think about it that way. I was more just impressed. I wanted to
Yeah.
see if I could be like, get any information from her about her tenacity, about how aggressive she was in her process.
Yeah.
And I couldn't speak to how well she was doing these sales, but I recognized the hustle and I wanted to know more about that, And so I sent her the email and she responded right away and she was like, "Hey, oh yeah, I know who you are and I would love to have a coffee with you." And so
Yeah.
we went and had a coffee and like I said, she had a job and she was fine there and we just talked and I didn't like hard press her on anything. I just was like, "Yeah, if you're ever I don't even know if I really even said, if you're looking for work, hit me up." But in any case, we just kind of left. We left that meeting and like I think a year later she hit me up and she was like, "Hey, I think I'm going to be looking for a job soon." And so for whatever reason, that experience of like seeing somebody and reaching out and trying to network and connect for whatever reason and then planting a seed, that could be huge. So that could be something that you could do because I know your clients get hit up all the time, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean that's fantastic. And one of the things about where I'm at, I'm in a town called Tupelo, Mississippi, right? We're a little small town in a little small state. And so everybody knows everybody. And so
Kind of like Maui, Hawaii. Very
yeah,
small.
yeah, we're very, very small. I don't think the scenery is as nice here as it is there.
Yeah.
We've got rice fields. That's about all we've got here.
We
But
don't got tidal waves though.
well, I mean, we can though. I mean, we get hurricanes down on the coast, and they kind of come up. So, but yeah, so that's one of the things that's unique about where we're at is that we are a small community, and so I've mostly attempted to hire here locally, and
Yeah.
so one of the things that is unique about our area is I can tell you, I can sit here and I can name off all of the heavy hitter digital marketing salespeople, and
Hmm.
they all own their own agency.
Hmm.
There's 50,000 people in the town that I live in,
Hmm.
and there are at least 8 digital marketing agencies locally owned in a town of 50,000. So there's a lot of talent here. There's a lot of really successful, and most of them kind of start their own thing, and that's great. And I actually have a really close relationship with 2 of the other locally owned digital marketing agencies. One we collaborate with, and we outsource work to very frequently.
Hmm.
It's a local company that's called Solve Tech Media. The owner is a guy. His name's Cody Floyd. He owns a jiu-jitsu academy. He is a black belt, and he's a badass, and you don't want to mess with him. But he can build some great
You want to
websites.
steal sales reps.
You don't want it. Well, he does. Yeah. Fortunately, he doesn't have any sales reps yet. But he does a lot of website development for us. He's solid, man. We have a great working relationship. And then one of my mentors is also, it's another local company, CH Local Media, great company. We have fantastic working relationships with those guys. But I'm saying this to say that none of the agencies in our area, none of the agencies, there's no sales reps. The
Mm.
only agency that I know of that has a sales rep is Haibu, right? The national corporate, they're a national
Mm.
marketing agency, right? And that's all that they have is sales reps, and they've got sales reps. But every agency in this area, nobody really has sales reps. The owners do the sales, and so we kind of have the same business model. But I really like what you're saying is like, okay, you see what the proof is. When you see the success, you pursue the success, right? You see that somebody's producing and you go after that. My last failure of trying to hire sales reps was definitely and by far my largest is I went to Indeed. I said, you know what?
Mhm.
I've tried to hire local, the people that have the experience, that have the knowledge, they've started their own thing, they've got their own business. Let me see if I can scale out nationally because one of the here's and this is something that I'll tell you, this was the most successful thing that I have ever done for my business is building referral and networking communities on a national level. We
Mhm.
have networking communities, we have Facebook pages and paid groups that we're a part of that
Mhm.
are business groups that we're allowed to solicit in, and we have generated hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue over the couple of years of
Nice.
being part of those communities. The other one is our referral networks.
Mhm.
We have gone to trade shows, we have gone to seminars, we've gone to masterminds, and we have built relationships with other marketing agencies that have a very tight buy box. And when customers don't meet that buy box, they refer them to us. And we have also done maybe not hundreds of thousands, but we've done tens of thousands of dollars in closed business with those referral partners in the last couple of years also.
Hmm.
So that has been really, really nice. So I was like, okay, look, we started out as a local marketing agency to where, 80% of our book of business was local, 20% was national. And now we're kind of 50-50.
Hmm.
We've got about 50% of our book of business that is now all across the United States.
Nice.
50% is local. Matter of fact, just last week, we picked up our first international client,
Nice.
really good client, $1,200 a month client retainer plus ad spend just for us
Nice.
to manage the ad. So that's a good client for us.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's focus on this national. And so when I took that thought process, I said, okay, well, how do I go and find a sales rep that can work maybe remote and build this national customer base? And I went through Indeed. I hired 2 sales reps. One of the sales reps ended up quitting during the training process. The other sales rep I'm currently in a lawsuit with
Mm.
because she actually had her own agency and was
Mm.
for me to go and it's
Yeah.
yeah,
I know what happened there.
whole mess.
I've heard that
But
one.
anyway, yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of where we're at. And but yeah, I really like your methodology. And fingers crossed is that one day sooner than later I find that person. I find this. I go out and I hear somebody's name and I hear their name and I hear their name. And I'm able to go out and negotiate, a really strong deal with them that benefits both of us. I would love to see that happen.
Yeah. Well, and if you don't, so the other route is to bring somebody in that isn't a salesperson and then help them get their chops in an easy way. And you do that by making your life easier because you're the existing salesperson. And so similar in that you're looking for you're looking for hustle, obviously. You want to find somebody who has they're ambitious, they're driven, they got a huge why they want to be successful behind them, why they got to make this work, why they want to work for you, why. You can find if you can find that person who is more common than the sales rep that's, super good that you're going to steal or whatever, then you can create a situation where while you train this person your skills or your method, they make your life easier. So the way that I do that is I have people so I'm building a list of leads all the time, regularly. If you're a brand new person and you're following the AI fast track training, you're obviously building a list of leads, right?
Right.
Today in my business, I'm not the salesperson calling all those leads, but I used to be. And Cody is. So he's
I,
that
I'm still that guy.
right. And so it's totally in most cases, like you're starting there. How do you get to the next stage? Well, instead of hiring just a salesperson or looking for that salesperson right out of the gate, look for somebody who can start to set appointments for you. Look for an appointment setter and use something here. Let me see. I mean, you're familiar with our directory method, right? With our smart directory. You're not.
Yes, yeah. This is the local directory.
Yep. Yep.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So like we have a method here, everybody, where we create a website in our community. It's called the Hawaii Thrive Initiative, and we give businesses advertisement on this site. And so we just create a lead list, upload it to this tool, and it gives them one of these listings, right? And it's a free listing, but they get free advertising. And we have a method where we use this to, instead of like calling people and saying like, hey, do you want to buy SEO, or hey, do you want to buy Google Ads, or hey, do you want to buy some AI automation? You say, hey, this is Nick. I'm calling from the Hawaii Thrive Initiative. It's your area, right? We've given your business a free advertisement on our site, and we just want to verify we have the correct information. This works well because business owners don't want the wrong information about their business out there on the internet. And
Right.
so when they say yes, and they verify the information, you say, great, and what's the best email that I can send a copy of the advertisement to? They give you their email address. They get put on your list. You have somebody else make those calls for you. And if they get somebody on the phone that's like a hyper person that's like, oh, cool, this is great, I love it, and what else? And what do you do? And where are you from? And the ones that are asking questions, you have them say, oh, and by the way, we actually help businesses get more customers. Is that something you might be interested in? And if they say yes, and you're like, great, let me schedule an appointment for you with Cody.
Right.
So you get that person every day making calls to these businesses, emails, DMs, just touch points. And that's where they learn how to communicate your method and tee up some appointments for you to close. You close those deals, you pay for them to come in and set those appointments, and you build somebody up with you to follow your method and your strategy. And that way you get like that method is, I mean, that method of building your own person is probably the better method because you have the opportunity to build something with somebody that's going to stay with you long term. They're not going to leave. They can do it right. They can do it with you. And you don't have to use, the directory method, by the way. Like, and if for those that are watching this, you do want this, just go to smartdirectory.ai. This is a software tool that we built. You just upload the leads and they automatically get a listing. And we have methods to turn these into paying listings, premium listings, all that stuff. But that's where you want to create a pipeline and an ecosystem for somebody on your team to get their chops for you. And whether you use a Facebook ad that brings in leads all the time or cold email or whatever, you just need to get them talking to people,
For sure.
and there's a benefit to you if they're talking to people because they're talking to people for you. And
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Yeah, I love that method. And the local directories method is something that we have not implemented yet, and it's something that has been on. It's actually written on my whiteboard right over here. It's literally been something that you guys have taught for 3 years, and I guess we kind of got into our rhythm of where we were going and where we were growing and how we were growing, and we just kind of bypassed that method, but it's absolutely, I mean, it's proven effective. And from what I've experienced as far as being inside of the offline sharks community, I feel like most of the successes that I have seen from our counterparts have come through that local directory method. It seems like that's what almost everybody starts with, and then they grow from there.
Well, it comes back down to the revenue producing activities, right? So if you're somebody watching this and you're sitting at home and you're like, man, I just can't get any traction. I just can't get a customer. It comes down to like, well, what are the revenue producing activities you're doing? And for most people, they don't have a system set up to make those RPAs easily accessible, consistent. Like you want to be able to do those RPAs every day without even thinking. And
Right.
having a smart directory, it allows you to just scrape a list using AI, upload the list, and you can automate those touch points because it uses
Right.
Go High Level. You can send out the emails. We already have the pre-built templates and the automations and all that stuff. You can actually have RPAs going without you being the one to do those things. And if you don't have any RPAs going, then yeah, you're not gonna, obviously you're not gonna be in there sharing wins all the time because that's
Right.
like that's the thing that you need. So, and then it is an exciting time for this method in general with AI because then you also have things that you can do like connect your smart directory with, an AI powered, you know, a sales rep, like an appointment
Yeah.
setter. If you don't want to train your own person up, you could have something like 11 Labs help you. You know, these things are crazy. These are like outbound AI agents that, will identify which people on your list are making engagements and set up some appointments for you, kind of like an appointment setter. But that's just the new frontier. That's getting better and better and better. And for the people that have a prospecting method like a smart directory set up, when that technology comes out and gets really good, you're going to be ready to go with it. And then also like AI overviews in Google are showing to rank directories as a very powerful ranking signal. I don't know if you've seen that. A lot of people are talking about that. So these directories have websites. They're going to become more valuable and more of a buzzword for business owners who want to be on them.
Right.
So your conversion at getting people to say, yes, you have the correct information is going to get even better and better because people are seeing that the more directories that their business is a part of right now, online directories that are interconnected to a lot of other high powered websites, they're showing up higher in those AI overviews and in search queries like in ChatGPT and so on. And
Yeah.
so that's kind of more like, people that are in the trenches that know this right now, but that will become more common knowledge, and that's going to be, make things even easier.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, local citations are a huge part of SEO. I mean,
Right.
that's an SEO sell all day long, every day.
They're making an even bigger impact than they were before now too. Like they're coming back even stronger because when you have these tools like ChatGPT scraping the internet, backlinks they aren't able to attribute backlinks as powerful as they used to be for a website because they don't have the website. They have
Right.
to rely on other additional popularity signals like what a directory or citations
Citations.
can
Yeah.
offer. Yeah. So anyway, I know we kind of geeked out on sales and we kind of went down. Now we just kind of went down the rabbit hole of like SEO and all that stuff. But yeah, man, hopefully you guys got some value out of this. If you did, please, like the video, subscribe if it's your first time on the channel. And if you have any questions for Cody, post them in the comments below. And you have social media where people can find you and follow you on.
Yeah, I mean, Cody Weaver is my Facebook, and I'm part of the Offline Sharks community. So they can find me through there, and I highly encourage anybody to join that community. My agency is Ignited Digital Marketing, which is right here. That's our logo, and
Nice.
yeah, we proud to be a part of it. Yeah, it's good to be here, and I hope, I hope that I don't know if I've said anything that's going to help anybody or inspire anybody. But one thing I know for sure is that they're following your YouTube channel and they're part of these groups. Being a part of this group, it's how I built my business, and the mentorship and the community has helped me beyond measure. So I hope that anybody listening, watching, that they continue to participate, and I hope they continue to watch and learn, and yeah, we're all in this together, and I hope we all. I've got one of my clients has become a really good friend of mine. His name's Jesse McNeese, and one of the things he said to me a few weeks ago is he said, "Cody," he said, "I want everybody to be a millionaire." And I said, "You know what? Me too, Jesse. Me too." So I hope we're all in this together, and I want to see everybody succeed. And you put the right plans in place, and you're in the right community if you're part of this community. So yeah.
Yeah, well said, man. I want that too. So yeah, man, appreciate you being here. With that, everybody, we'll see you all in the next one. Take care.